who are the 5 scariest wrestlers of the NCAA in the NCAA right now? Who are the 5 scariest NCAA wrestlers currently? So this is based off of many things, and where I'm basing the scariest wrestlers is not necessarily based on looks or, I mean, it's more of how they wrestle, their style of wrestling, as well as some of their accolades. So these are the guys who can be locks in the NCAA this year, the guys with the best win streaks currently heading into the upcoming season, and also guys who really have the least competition, and that really makes them super scary. So who are those guys that are super scary? Well, the first guy on this list, actually, before we get into the number 5 guy on this Fanco 5, this edition of the Fanco 5, we have to talk about the honorable mentions, and that is Noah Adams, who, yeah, he didn't make the top 5, but that is because I think 197 is a weight that there are a lot of guys where there are some exciting things that could happen at 197. We also have at 157, there's just such a battle between Deacon, Hidley, and Carr. Maybe you disagree that there's a battle between those 3 guys, but I think there's a lot of competition going on there. And because of that, I don't necessarily say there's one really scary guy at that weight. So who is the first guy on this list? Well, the first guy on this list is coming in at heavyweight, and that is Gable Steveson. Gable Steveson is heading into this upcoming season with a 17-match win streak. And he had some great wins last year over Mason Paris, over Cassiope, over Stencil, and Hilger. I mean, Gable is somebody who has just absolutely been incredible on the college scene. Had a great freshman year, had a solid sophomore year, just has always had kind of roadblocks in his path. First, Anthony Cassar, and then this past season with COVID, of course, he unfortunately had some guys. But he is the dominant guy at the weight, and he has shown that he is the dominant guy at heavyweight, and I think that's going to continue in this upcoming season. I mean, I think that Mason Paris is somebody who really is a threat to him, as well as, potentially some other heavyweights. But so far, as we're heading into the season, Gable Steveson has shown that he is the scariest guy at the weight. Now, the other scariest guys we get into number 4 guy is Mekhi Lewis. Mekhi is somebody coming with a 19-match win streak at 165 pounds. And the reason that he's so scary is because he seemingly, I don't want to say he came out of nowhere. I mean, Virginia Tech fans, I remember whenever I was saying Mekhi kind of came out of nowhere, which I still believe that he somewhat did. He was, not a highly ranked guy coming into the NCAA tournament, ended up winning the whole thing, upending Marinelli, upending Wick, as well as Vincenzo Joseph that year. I mean, if that's not scary, I don't know what is. But Mekhi Lewis is somebody who just absolutely tore it up at nationals, and after taking that Olympic redshirt year, seemingly, just progressing his talent and his technique and his skill, I'm super excited to see how he's going to be. I mean, and the exciting part too is he's one of the guys on this list who can be a 5-time NCAA champion, a 5-timer. Because of the procedures now that are going on with the NCAA, assuming, nothing else ends up getting canceled, fingers crossed for that. He's going to have some serious competition at 165, there's no doubt about it. With Marinelli, again, with Griffith and Massa, I mean, there's a lot here. But that brings us to number 3. And that is where we get into our Iowa Hawkeye in Michael Kemmer, who had his only loss in the upcoming season, in the past season, to Mark Hall. His only loss in the last season was to Mark Hall, and that was in the Big Ten Championship, so where he did actually beat him earlier on in the season, he just beat him up in the duel. I mean, listen, I've kind of skirted around the topic before, but he took it to Mark Hall in the Penn State and Iowa duel. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He did, and that's what makes Kemmer so scary. The positions he's able to get in, I mean, his double leg and his shots are just so explosive, especially in that match. I mean, man, he is just somebody who was on fire, bumping up from 57 to 74. People were like, I don't know, how is he going to do it, including myself. And he just tore it up. And he's somebody who I think is going to be super scary in this upcoming season. He's going to, just like these other guys, have a little bit of competition with Labriola, with Romero, but, he's beat those guys before. And I think Kemmer, being a 2-time All-American before, I think he's going to get his 3rd All-American this year and potentially a national title. I really think he's going to get that. So that moves us to the number 2 guy in Yanni Diaco. You knew he had to be on this list, and maybe that gives away the number 1 spot. Maybe it doesn't, but where do you think Yanni should be on this list? Is he one of the guy? Is he one of the guys in this weight or in this in the NCAA who is the scariest guy? I really think he is. I mean, he has 47 match win streak right now. Last loss coming from Jaden Ironman. So that's where his last match was from. But since that time, he has beat some incredible guys, some incredible competition with Bryce Merritt, the Dean Heil. He beat Jaden Ironman again, actually multiple times since his loss. He beat Dom Demas. He beat Joey McKenna. He's just the guy who can beat the unbeatables. And now Yanni is the unbeatable, in my opinion. He is the unbeatable. And he's another one who can be a 5-time NCAA champion. Now, he's going to have some renewed competition and some brand new competition, including against Sebastian Rivera, some renewed competition against Jaden Ironman, as well as Woods, and they're all going to pose some threats to him, and I'm excited to see where that will go in this upcoming season. And that brings us to our number one guy, the number one scariest guy in college wrestling for this Halloween time. Please let me know if you enjoyed this topic. It was a lot of fun to talk about, but Spencer Lee. Spencer Lee currently has a 23-match win streak, a multiple-time NCAA champ, and has a time to be a 4-timer. Thank goodness. I know that's what everybody's been looking out for. Is Spencer going to be a 4-timer? I think he is going to. I mean, he is a 2020 Hodge Trophy winner, and he is the real standout at his weight. That's why I have him above Yanni on the scariest list right here, is because I think that Spencer has a little bit less competition than Yanni. And that's not to degrade or decrease the amount of talent that is in at 125 pounds. I think there are a lot of great guys. And, with Nick Soriano potentially dropping, rumors of Dayton Fix dropping, as well as some, with Pat Glory, some great competition there at 125 pounds. I think that Spencer Lee is still the guy on top, and I mean his bonus point percentage too. That's the other thing. It's just unbelievable. His tilt. That's the scariest part about Spencer Lee is his tilt, and that he's just able to get that on the best of guys. He only had one relatively close match to Jack Medley last season, which was an 8-1. I mean, almost a major right there. And I really do believe that Spencer is going to kick it up a notch in this upcoming season. And I can't wait to see how he's going to do.